Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to this interactive investor webinar. I'm Ashley Berry, and we are thrilled you're joining us today. We're speaking with Gord Davey, President and CEO of Delivra Health Brands, Inc., traded under DHB on the TSXV and DHBUF on the OTCQB. So before we dive in, I want to frame two core brands at the center of Delivra Health's growth story: Dreamwater and LivRelief. From an investor standpoint, these brands really directly address two of the largest and fastest growing wellness categories. Number one, sleep support, driven by rising consumer demand for safe, non-habit forming solutions, and pain management, where consumers are actively shifting towards topical and alternative relief options. Very important. Dreamwater has emerged as a leader in convenient sleep solutions across North America, while LivRelief offers clinically backed targeted pain relief with strong repeat usage. So together, they give Delivra Health a really defensible market position, recurring consumer demand, and a platform that supports both scalable retail expansion and international growth. So with that context in mind, investors, let's jump right into today's discussion. So we are calling this Pillars of Growth: how Delivra Health plans to sustain financial and market momentum post turnaround. We'll be covering Delivra's North American retail growth, international expansion, brand innovation, omni-channel strategy, financial outlook, and much more. It sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. So this webinar is fully interactive. So please feel free to submit your questions at any time during this discussion, and I'll weave those questions into the fabric of our conversation as we go along. So without further ado, I would like to welcome you, Gord, to the show. We are very excited to hear all of the news you have to share with us today.
Oh, thank you, Ashley. What a great introduction to Delivra Health Brands. I really appreciate that. And I'm really looking forward to a very strong interactive webinar today. So thank you very much for that introduction.
Absolutely, and well deserved, Gord. So let's start with North America. So earlier this year, you reported approximately 34% revenue growth year over year in Q2 FY 2025. So what do you see as really the top contributors to that momentum?
Yeah, you know what? Those results are a reflection of what we've been doing in the background over the past several years in setting up these pillars of growth, if you will. You know, the essence of a pillar is growing a foundation and holding things up, and that's what we've been able to do. So you mentioned it earlier that both sleep and pain are category leaders. You know, the sleep category is over $85 billion category, as is the pain category. It's another $88 billion category. So we are right in the middle of channels that are growing and categories that are growing exponentially. One of the things about Dreamwater is that every person goes to sleep at night. So we have 100% of the market out there. So it's kind of interesting in that aspect of it. So as category leaders in these segments, we continue to strive. And part of what we are doing is we are really expanding in strategic distribution. So not only in North America, but globally as well. And when we say strategic distribution, Ashley, it is focusing in on channels at the right time in the right place. So, and that's a really important aspect of what we're trying to do. So we're really focused in on our convenience channel right now through North America, and we are growing exponentially. We are adding thousands of stores at a time because the amount of people that require sleep at a convenient level is really, really important. So what Red Bull brought to energy, we're bringing to sleep, if you will. So that's part of what we're doing. Yeah, I see you smiling a little bit,
I
right?
like
Because it's
that.
really important. Yeah. And you know, I think that as we continue to put these products on shelf, we have to have a very strategic marketing and brand awareness strategy to pull this product out as well. We're really great at getting things listed inside this convenient channel and in grocery and drug as well. But it's incumbent upon us to put the right pull strategy as well. We can push it in, we need to pull it out. And that's a really important aspect of driving this growth. And then as you will continue to see, and it will be a common discussion as we talk today, and that is we continue to expand in our innovation. And there's a really important piece to that. When we first came on, we had one SKU of Dreamwater. We had 4 SKUs of LivRelief.
Mm.
We continue to expand in innovation, and that helps us with our brand blocking strategy inside the stores. So if you have one SKU, it's always there, but if you're able to brand block, you're able to see more of your brands and give your consumers more choice. So that's just some of the initial part of what we're doing from Delivra Health Brands.
And Dreamwater really continues to perform very well, I must say, in Canada and the US. So, what do you estimate your market share to be today, and how are you planning to expand it further?
Yeah, our market share it continues to grow our market share both in Canada and the US, and that is driven by these continued new listings that we continue to expand with. Now, when you're growing your category, you're growing your market share. That's the importance of adding in our new SKUs into our Dreamwater model. So we have Dreamwater Snoozeberry, which is our shot that we use. Quite a name, I know. So we have expanded to not only have our Dreamwater sleep shots, but we have expanded into Dreamwater sleep gummies, Dreamwater sleep powder to add and enhance the Dreamwater portfolio. And inside our shots, we have added functionalities such as Dreamwater Immunity that helps your immune system when you go to sleep, because when people are traveling and they're working, it's a very important piece. And then we also have Dreamwater Beauty that has ingredients such as biotin in it that helps your hair and your nails and help you recover as you go to sleep. So we'll continue to add products and functionalities to our brands in order to continue to drive that market share.
Excellent. I could use the beauty one. I love that idea. And the biotin, because that is so popular. It's becoming so popular. It has been over the last, decade or so. I remember back when I was a pup, I would be trying to take that and think, well, are my nails is my hair getting better? So this is fantastic because it's like it's all in one. So let's talk about LivRelief and how it's performing across your major retail markets and really what strategies you're deploying to drive stronger performance.
Uh, LivRelief is such a phenomenal product, and it's a very science-backed, clinically driven product that we have. And not only are the patents so important to us, but the delivery system by which we use is something that's very unique to LivRelief and our brands. LivRelief is available in Canada right now with one SKU available in the US, and that is our varicose veins cream that's available now in the US on e-commerce. Our brand, our LivRelief brand, we've had to do a transformation in our branding and our pricing strategy in the marketplace. As there are many great things that happen inside our company, there are also some challenges by which we are faced. One of those challenges was with our LivRelief brand in the marketplace. And it is a premium product, but the pricing discrepancy between LivRelief and our competitors, there was such a large gap. So what we've had to do is we've had to do a real strong pricing strategy and not only a pricing strategy, but a shelf strategy as well. So it's an investment by Delivra Health Brands in LivRelief to help grow our brand. And what has happened since we have done this is we have exponentially seen our number of units increase incredibly. So in our e-commerce strategy, it has increased by 37% over the last 2 quarters. And that is a true reflection of our strategy working. So not only with LivRelief, we're in about 5,500 stores in Canada, every major grocery, every major drug, all across Canada. So in those, we are seeing more and more shelf space increase as we go as well. So LivRelief is a tremendous brand. And also we have our LivRelief infused product as well, which is a tremendous product that is available in the regulated market here in Canada. And we'll continue again working within that channel. We have revamped our strategy with our LivRelief infused as well. We were using a company to produce it, and it was a press release that we sent out with Canopy Growth. As Canopy has evolved as a company, they have focused in on some other areas. Therefore, we have a different strategy, and more to come. As shareholders, you'll see a revamped strategy for us going forward, and it's very, very exciting.
Somebody just typed in they love those teddies.
Well, isn't that awesome? Hey, that's terrific. Yes. Oh, that's wonderful. I like that. That's great. Perfect.
All right. So let's
Yes.
talk about your key partners really supporting this monumental growth, I would say, nearly 40%. How do they complement Delivra's capabilities?
Yeah, I think that's a really important question. A company our size, we really do have to focus in on our partners and who helps support us throughout the way. A company our size, we are very fortunate to have great broker system that we use inside North America and globally. So we have tremendous partners in the US and they are helping us expand our portfolio tremendously. We just met with our partners at the North American Convenience Store at NACS conference in Chicago. And
Mm.
we went to a customer get together with our partner BBI, which is our broker in the US. What an amazing evening. And with our sales team that is currently working with them, the response back on Dreamwater in the US is incredible. And then we went to the conference itself with our partners, and we had the busiest booth all around, and we were
Oh, that's
providing
great.
dream water and great sleeps for all those people inside that next conference, and the smiles and the response back to us the next day after we would give them a bottle of dream water or some gummies. They would come back and say, what a great night's sleep. It was just an absolute
Mm.
great night's sleep. And I just want to emphasize that. That's one thing that's very important with our products is that they work. And when you try them, you'll come back and use them again. And I think that that's a really important aspect. Tim Young, who runs all of our operations and who's our general manager, he says, Gord, people will know within 30 minutes whether or not they like our products or our products work for them. And
Mm.
it's whether or not you have Dream Water or LivRelief, you'll know within 30 minutes whether or not you like our products. So give it a try and you'll find out that it does work for you. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. I saw the pictures that you had posted on social
Yeah.
media of your
Yes.
booth there in Chicago, I'm assuming, and it
Yes.
looked like it was a very energetic and exciting crowd. Like as you said, you were the busiest booth. So fantastic insights, Gord. And I'm going to pause here and pull in a couple of questions from the audience related to North America. So the
Yeah.
first question is, which product line is currently the fastest growing?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's a very easy answer, and that is our Dreamwater brand. And our Dreamwater brand is growing exponentially. It represents about 70% of what we sell in our company, and it will continue to expand. And I think that it's a faster growing segment than our pain segment, and our ability to expand and innovate with Dreamwater. It is vast in our ability to do that. One of the things in North America is that we are growing in the convenience channel very quickly. So I think after NACS, we picked up another over 1,000 stores, maybe a couple thousand by the time we get finished, and we'll continue to grow in that channel. So and there's so many stores, not just big chains, but there's stores that have 400, 500, 600 stores that really want our product. One of the reasons why we're able to grow is that our sales team has done a marvelous job of getting us into the major distributors, our partners, if you will, into the US. So when a convenience chain wants our product, they say, we go through Core-Mark in the United States. Well, we're already there. We're already established in every Core-Mark facility. If they say HD Hackney, we're already in that. If they say McLean's, we have already set up those relationships. So we have the ability to get our product to the customers, which is really important.
Absolutely. To dovetail on that, another question coming in, any targeted acquisition discussions in process?
Uh, I think that's always something that is going on within our company is the M&A activity is growing within our company. And I think coming back from a conference like NACS, we are inundated with calls about what we're doing and projects that we're working on before this. I wish I could say a little bit more, but it's something that because we're publicly traded, I have to be
Sure.
cautious of some of the things that I do say. But it's a great question, and it's something that M&A will be, mergers and acquisitions will be a big part of our future going forward with Delivra Health Brands.
Yes, and certainly, the investors, the viewers understand there's the whole forward-looking statements and that there are some questions that you may not be able to publicly answer at this time, which I'm sure everybody understands. The last question on this topic here in the, North America, we have a question from Jake. He gave his name. Are you localizing formulations, packaging, or regulatory compliance differently in various jurisdictions? Basically, Jake wants to know how that works.
Yeah, it's a very important question, Jake, and it's actually a speed to market question that's really important. So when you're launching something in the United States, you can launch it much quicker than you can in a country like Canada. In Canada, you're very restricted through Health Canada, and you have to follow a tremendous process. And with our product, we have an NPN number, a national product number that allows us to sell inside Canada. And we have to go through all the Health Canada regulations. So it's a great question. In the US, we can develop a product as long as we're FDA compliant, which we are. And our manufacturing facilities also have to be compliant with all of the registered capabilities to produce our product as well. So it's a great question. Much easier, much quicker to launch a product in the USA than it is in Canada for sure.
And speaking of that, global strategy now. We're not just talking about the USA and Canada. You recently began rolling out products in the Middle East. So, which markets are you starting with, and how big is that opportunity, Gord?
The opportunity is huge and it continues to grow for us. It's one of the things about expanding globally is it does take time in order to open up countries, but doing it in the right way is very important to Delivra Health Brands. We are now in the Middle East. Our biggest area is in Saudi Arabia, and our Saudi Arabia business continues to evolve and grow and develop. We are currently using one SKU in one product, one SKU. That's our sleep shot in this area. We are rapidly expanding that distribution or that product offering to add more of our functionality SKUs, gummies, powder, beauty. So we are going to grow exponentially with that. The sleep category is an $85 billion category, of which 50% of that, 42 billion, is in North America. So the rest of the world is only half. So there is such an opportunity for sleep outside of North America. Our products like LivRelief are also being developed so that we can sell them inside these countries. Now, we have to be cognizant of, as global development continues, is making sure that the products are registered correctly inside each of those locations. But the global expansion through Saudi Arabia and the Middle East has been a wonderful experience for Dreamwater.
Hi, all. So I have a terrible internet connection. So you can all hear me, though, right?
Yes, we can.
All right. Well, then let's just keep going and we will try to make sure that this internet connection at some point comes back up. So, what I was asking, and I truly apologize, Gord, I was asking you sort of the main regional partners and what strengths they bring to the table here with delivering your product.
Yeah. So we have a couple of major distributors and brokers that we use in the Middle East, and what they bring is they bring tremendous market value to our brands. They are not only are they well connected, but they have a good, strong distribution model inside their countries. I just was speaking with our partner this morning, and we were talking about we are in 6,000 pharmacies in Saudi Arabia. And what they do is they have a very strong model in not only pricing, but marketing and distribution. What I will say is that Dreamwater is, and I'll use Tim Young, Dreamwater is like Kleenex in Saudi Arabia, where I mean, when people think of a tissue, they think of the word Kleenex, and that's what they do when they think of sleep. They think of Dreamwater. And so we'll continue to expand. We're looking forward to adding in new products into those areas, adding in gummies, adding in powder, adding in our functional side of our shots. So they're really strong at relationships, very strong at distribution, and very strong at marketing our brand.
Yes. And, speaking of distribution, maybe you could walk us through the current rollout status and timeline for wider availability.
Yeah, I think from a timing perspective, and I think that Jake asked this question earlier about regulatory, is how quickly does it go in North America? Well, when you're adding distribution to international markets, the amount of regulatory pieces that are covered, anyone that has been able to expand their products globally understand the commitments that are required to get product through the regulatory system. So that being said, we're ready to go as soon as the regulatory pieces have been signed off. And my team will know that my sense of urgency in these types of things is at the highest level. So as soon as they are approved regulatory, you'll see them in the Middle Eastern marketplace.
Absolutely. Well, one thing I have to say is, the innovation that you are doing is just phenomenal. And so I'm thinking, Delivra, is this kind of like a first mover in this part of the world? Are there other products out there? Is there competition? If you can kind of explain, because like you said, it's like the Kleenex, it's like they use it and it's very popular. So maybe you could dive a little bit deeper into that.
Yeah, you know what, Ashley, I'm glad you touched base on that. It's because it's actually one of the reasons I was speaking with our partner today is the amount of competition that is coming into the marketplace that is trying to emulate what Dreamwater is doing there it's quite interesting. We've actually had to do a few follow-ups with the competition coming in there because they're using the same bottle, the same fonts, the same type of look that we have to try to take some of that business away. Now, that's a normal act of doing business when you enter a new market is there's always going to be competition. So what we have been able to do is we've been able to set up stronger marketing programs, stronger points of distribution inside the stores, stronger pricing campaigns, and now adding in new SKUs so that we can brand block inside those locations. So instead of just having our one Snoozeberry SKU, we will have Snoozeberry, Beauty, and gummies so that we're brand blocking inside those stores. So there is a lot of competition that's coming in. They see the opportunity, but we also have our strategy to circumvent that.
Fantastic. And there are questions coming in. Unfortunately, I cannot see them. I just tried to reboot my internet. I'm going to ask my friend Monir or Sarah if they could maybe go through the questions to see what folks are talking about the Middle East rollout. Maybe we could take a moment to ask a couple of those. And then also, I will say that there was a lot of positive comments, Gord, that I saw just before I dropped out. So I'd like them to potentially read those as well for me, please, while I try and log back in.
Well, I don't have access to the previous comments, but I do have a question here for Gord. Which are the hot markets in your minds? Also, any new kind of products in your pipeline?
Yeah, those are two great questions and two that are, it's almost like you're reading our strategy documents. So there are some very hot markets that are happening. South America is a marketplace that is very similar to that of the Middle East, that they are striving for products to help them sleep. They are striving for natural products to help with pain relief. So South America, Europe, and Mexico, these are all areas that we are working diligently with to expand our portfolio. The second part of that question is you asked about new products that are coming. So we'll continue to innovate in both Dreamwater and LivRelief. I'm going to touch base on LivRelief for a second, and that is we will take advantage of the multiple patents that we have with the brand. So when we bought LivRelief, there were not only the products that we currently have, but there are other patents that we have that we can expand our portfolio. So you will see functionality creams that are going to come out to help with itching, to help with added pain, to help with muscles, to help with joints, to help with psoriasis. You're going to see some different products come out on the LivRelief side. From the Dreamwater side, we will continue to expand in functionalities and formats. So as you heard earlier, we have Dreamwater Immunity that has zinc and those types of ingredients inside it that will help your immune system. We have Dreamwater Beauty that has biotin in it that helps your hair and nails. We'll continue to develop products to help with sport, to help with recovery, to help with relaxation. You'll continue to see those. You'll continue to see those in formats, not just in our sleep shot, not just in gummies. You may see it in a cup of tea at night. You may see some very interesting concepts as we go forward in the functionality pieces of it. So those are, and then you'll continue to see expansion. And somebody asked the question earlier about M&A. You'll continue to see us work on mergers and acquisitions to add to that portfolio. One of the things about that mergers and acquisition question is that if we are in 20 or 25,000 stores worldwide, and we can pick up brands that are in 5 or 6 or 1,000 stores and add them to our distribution, we already have our full system set up, our internal system. We've spent millions of dollars setting this up so that we can actually seamlessly bring on new brands into our system, which is really important. So there's not added costs to our system. It's just adding brands to our distribution.
Thank you for that, Gord. Yes, I actually have access to the questions now, and I see Rena has asked a question, how you're managing supply chain, logistics, regulatory, customs, import duties on all these markets.
Yeah, I love these questions because they're great questions and things that we speak about every day. One of the things about Delivra Health Brands is that we have really, we're asset light in our model. And we have really de-risked that point for us. So we use established, strong contract manufacturers to produce our product. We have dedicated warehouse systems and distribution centers to distribute our products. We have EDI systems that are set up to deliver that product to our distributors like Cormark, like HD Hackney, like McLean's. So we have that internal structure already set up. Working through customs and deliveries across border, we have already established that system. We have one of the things about our team on Delivra Health Brands is that we have some tremendous experience in dealing with these types of protocols that are required to get your product in and out of countries. We are very fortunate with Delivra Health Brands to have experienced people through Molson and Clorox and Coca-Cola and Red Bull. We have vast experience to know how to get through these systematic things to bring product in and out of countries. It's a great question. And sometimes it takes longer than others. And I'm not sure if there's going to be a question on tariffs. We're not really affected by tariffs. Just to let you know, we're not affected because we're a pharmaceutical company to do that. So we're not affected by the tariffs as of yet, except for the the perception in the market. So, but that's a great question. And we have a full team and background to do that.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that, Gordon. There's one more question I'd like to ask. This is an anonymous person. What are some main drivers of the margin pressure? Are you taking any actions to expand the margins?
Yeah. Well, what a great question, because to understand where Delivra Health Brands is, you have to look back at where we came from. When we first became Delivra Health Brands, our margins were right around 9%. And subsequently now we're at 51%. So there's a lot of steps that we've had to do inside there in order to increase that and make that margin sustainable. Because margins are something that allow you to reinvest back into your company, as everyone knows. That's a very common business practice. So how do we do that? Well, we are extremely diligent on our SG&A expenses, and we're very diligent on our production contract manufacturers that we have. So we really make sure that our costs are as low as possible when we're producing, And we're very cognizant of what the marketplace will allow us to sell the product for. And we continue to be very disciplined in our financial approach. And we've been watching our margins not only go up, but they've maintained at the 50% margin now for the last 3 years. So we're now at a sustainable place in the marketplace.
All right, fantastic. So, I had mentioned this earlier about innovation and, the incredible work you're doing. Flagship brands, they're obviously, Dreamwater, LivRelief, they're well established. Innovation is obviously very important to this and key. So, are there any new product improvements or developments underway for both of those products, Dreamwater or LivRelief, or both?
Yeah, you know what? I think that is an ongoing process for Delivra Health Brands. We have a pipeline that's 3 to 5 years deep for both of our brands. And those expansions and those innovations come from consumer insights. So we are continually asking what our consumers are looking for and their data-driven decisions that we have from the data that we have. So we'll continue to innovate and add those functionality pieces. You'll see products in the marketplace, and I think they do a wonderful job. I'll pick 5-Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy has a tremendous space at the front of stores. If you notice with 5-Hour Energy, there's 8 to 12 different flavors of it. We're not so much as doing flavors, but functionality. So you will continue to see in Dreamwater functionalities that allow you to relax, to allow you to recover, to allow you to have electrolytes in them to expand on your sport as well. One of the things that we have that we continually want to grow on is that I believe now we have between 45 and 50 professional sports teams using our products. And I think that's a really important piece because the athletes know how good the product works, and the amount of recovery they need at night to go to sleep allows them to have that energy in the morning. So that's on Dreamwater. On LivRelief, we'll continue to develop the patents that we have inside our organization and continue to add products to the marketplace. One of the things that's really important when you are developing products is that you have to have the investment in behind you in order to launch these products. It is an investment from the company. Marketing plans, packaging, inventories. You have to make sure that you have the right investment in behind you in order to launch that. So strategically and disciplinedly, we have brought out products to allow us to continue to grow, and we'll continue to do that with our funding that we have available.
Fantastic. So, sorry, guys, I still can't get my internet to work. So, Gord, I apologize again.
No,
we're doing this on the phone.
No worries. I see. Do you want me to go on these questions and answers? I see 14 of them here.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. If you'd like to address any of those, that'd be fantastic.
Okay. Which product is currently the fastest growing? Which product is the fastest growing? Well, our Dreamwater products are growing at an accelerated rate, and that is because we're in more areas than we are with LivRelief. I saw any acquisitions.
Yeah, if you go down a little.
Your products are amazing. Thank you very much for that.
There you go. See, yeah, those are the
long-term investor here. I'm really happy with the progress of DHB so far. Yeah, thank you for that. We really appreciate that. We'll continue to be responsible in the marketplace in order to continue to drive that investor value. We would like to see it move quicker, but we also have to make sure that we stay responsible in our financial acumen. Expanding to Europe, yeah, we'd like to be in Europe ASAP. Again, one of the things about expanding into Europe is our formulations of our Dreamwater product. We have 5 milligrams of melatonin in our product. In some of the European regions, they don't allow more than 1 milligram of of melatonin in a product. So as part of our development, we are working on a non-melatonin dream water as well. And that will help us get into those countries that don't allow melatonin as an over-the-counter product. Okay. It says here, from Sergi, thank you, Sergi, for the message. You have one customer that is a big part of your sales. How big is a risk? Well, that risk is something that we speak about and work on each day. They only have one SKU, so we continue to develop. We actually think it as an opportunity rather than a risk to what we're looking at, because we're only working with one SKU with them, and our plan is to develop and add several more SKUs and also our LivRelief product in that same customer.
I will say that the audience really loves the transparency here, Gord. I saw one comment there in the Q&A that you should do more webinars, and we're definitely going to do another webinar when my internet's working.
Yes. Well, here's a question from Jesse, and I think they use their name, so I think I can use it, and I think it's important. We've changed the momentum of Delivra Health Brands. We're a responsible group that looks for long-term sustainable growth for our shareholders. There are people that this person, any encouraging words for those long-time stockholders since 2018. Yeah, and I think that you can see the continued progress that we have been making as a company. And what I would say to you is that you'll continue to see that same vigor, that same passion that we have to grow both of our brands and our Infuse brand exponentially. You're going to see us utilize the assets that we have to expand our company. Those assets that we have to do with our distribution in the marketplace. Distribution is a currency. So as we continue, we will look for like-minded health and wellness or better for you brands to add to our portfolio that will allow us to utilize those assets that we have, and that is our distribution. So I think that that's a really important piece as we go forward for Delivra Health Brands. And I wish I could say more on that, but that is where we see and where we look to expand our company.
And speaking of expanding, Gord, as you continue to scale, what would you say the steps you're taking to maintain or improve your operational efficiency?
Yeah. So I think that's an important piece to the sustainability of our margins. We have in our general manager and head of operations, Tim Young, we have 25 years experience in Molson Coors, that looking after distribution and procurement and contract management. And that experience alone allows us to look at those things that somebody else may not be able to see before it gets to a point where it costs you more money. So kudos to Tim for using his experience to help us understand those costs, understand what's going to happen next. We have our operations and procurement team are so experienced in seeing what is out there next, and also keeping ahead of making sure that we always have a supply chain is really important to us. So I think that, keeping our asset light, lean structure in place is really important for us right now.
And what would you identify as, say, key risks on your radar and how you're mitigating them?
Yeah. So there with every company, there's some great things that are happening, but there's also some challenges. One of the challenges that we face right now is in our LivRelief infused channel, and we have had to revamp our strategy. So as you're revamping your strategy, you have hurdles, actual revenue hurdles that you have that they don't go away because you're not bringing in that income right now. So we have revenue hurdles that we're hurdling with our Dream Water and our LivRelief over-the-counter products, but we have had to revamp this LivRelief infused model that we have. And what I will say is that this new system that we have set up, the expertise that we're bringing in with the people, this model is going to be a far better model than the one that we're working with right now. The excitement of the consumer to get LivRelief infused because it works is very much prominent in BC, British Columbia, in Alberta, and in Ontario, as well as our medical markets. So that's a challenge that we have that we're overcoming, and will continue to strive for a new system in our Q3, which is January 2026.
Excellent. So, what would you say if you could maybe expand a little bit on the strategic priorities that are guiding the company's next phase of growth beyond?
Love the question, because this is really important. We talk about it every day.
Mm-hmm.
We have some big bets, is what we're calling them. We're now in a position where we can go to those larger accounts in the US and especially in the US and in Canada. Those are big club accounts, those are big drug store accounts, those are big mass accounts. And what I mean, so your club accounts are Costco's and BJ's and Sam's Club. Those are the big accounts. In drug, you're looking at Walgreens, you're looking at CVS's. And what I would say is that we are now in a position where we are more than comfortable about going and investing into those channels, because the cost of entry into those channels is quite a bit, but we are now ready to take on those challenges. So those are our major priorities, is to go after those larger accounts and present our products to them.
I'm excited to go walk around Costco and see your product and say, I know that gentleman.
Let us get there first.
He's the
But
best CEO. But
yeah.
listen, you are in airports. I mean, you are all over the place. So you're doing a phenomenal job. And as you said, your marketing team has really, really worked very hard. So kudos to them as well to get the word out. So fantastic work there. Yes. And I am seeing, with the short time we have left, I'm seeing a few final questions from the audience. Okay. One person is asking, are there any specific ESG goals that you are targeting? And forgive me if you've already answered this, Gord.
Well, I think that we're always setting goals with that. I think it's an important aspect of our business. And as we continue to grow and expand, setting up those priorities will be a very important piece to us. Where we are as a company right now, we have to prioritize things in a certain way. And I think ESG is a very important piece to that as well.
Excellent. Another question from Sergi. Is your business sensitive to interest rates?
Well, I think because we have a great deal of our business in the US, that exchange rates are more important than interest rates, because we're a company that doesn't have debt, so we don't have to worry about what the interest rate is going to be on a loan or anything like that. So I think that's a really important piece to where we are as a company, is that we're very self-sustaining in that manner. So interest rates don't really affect us. Exchange rates do, though, from US to Canada for sure.
Excellent. And final question here, or final statement, I should say. Somebody said, always good to see the management out there. And that just reinforces, the transparency, us having these conversations, allowing investors, those new who might be learning about Delivra Health Brands, into the conversation. And so I would give this opportunity to you, Gord, with any final thoughts that you have.
Yeah. Thank you, Ashley. I love that statement about seeing management, because our management team is out in the market. Our management team is accessible, and we want to make it that way, because of the transparency that we work with each and every day. Obviously, with the regulatory piece of being publicly traded, we have to be cognizant of what we say, but our management team and our board is out there promoting and talking about Delivra Health Brands. As we finish this up, Ashley, I think I love seeing the questions. I think that not only are they insightful questions, but they are questions that has made me think about some of the things as well that are important to our shareholders and important to people. So thank you very much for all those questions. I really do appreciate those. As we move on to this, as we're closing this out, Delivra Health Brands is in a very good spot right now. We have strong innovation, we have strong products, and we have a strong team. There's so much more to come, and continue to follow us, and please reach out. Anyone can reach out to me at any time for any other questions or concerns. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gord. Gord Davey, President and CEO of Delivra Health Brands, Inc., traded under DHB on the TSXV again, and DHBUF on the OTCQB. Gord, it was always such a pleasure to speak with you, especially today. Thank you for this thoughtful and detailed conversation. And of course, thank you to our audience and for your patience on the technical difficulties on my end. I am so sorry, but we will have a replay that will be available on Delivra's website, which is deliverhealthbrands.com. And this has been a fun webinar with you, Gord. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you again for joining this webinar. Everyone, have a great day.
Thank you. Cheers.